yoga mat, getting into a comfortable space on your back. Yeah, that may be with the knees bent. You might have the legs out straight. You might have a bolster underneath your knees. You might have a bolster underneath your back. But however you can land in this spot in a comfortable space. Close the eyes and take a deep breath in. As you exhale, find some heaviness here, relaxing down into your space. Big full breath in. Exhale, relax a little deeper, shoulders, hips, heels. And just shifting to a more intentional breath. That might be an ujjayi breath today, or it might just be inhales and exhales out of the mouth. Whatever feels good to you. Just make it more intentional. So slow breath in as you scan the body. Slow breath out as you relax the body. Releasing into the hips and the low back a little bit more. Relaxing into the neck and the shoulders a little bit more. And maybe beginning to set an intention for this practice today. What do you need from your mat? Holding on to that intention as we start to move throughout this practice today. On your next inhale, take the arms up and overhead. Eyes can stay closed. They're just going to land on the ground over the head. They don't have to be straight arms, so bend them to where you can let them fall naturally. Feel the space that wants to come here. Breathe deep. Opening up that heart chakra just a little bit more. Relax into the chest. And then as you start to bring the hands down to the sides, bend the knees, plant the feet hips distance apart. Remove any props that you need here. Slide them away. As you're ready, we're going to inhale, lift up through those hips. As we exhale, our hips are going to come down, arms are coming back overhead. Inhale, we bring the hands down by the hips, lift the hips to the sky. Exhale, lower down, scoop the belly in, arms overhead. 3 more just like that. Exhale, inhale. Exhale as we lower, there we go. Last one. Or maybe I'm counting off today. Let's do one more just for fun. And then as you land this time with those arms overhead and a low back to the earth, gently windshield wiper the knees side to side. Releasing through that low back. Maybe you take the knees all the way over to the right. And back to center. Take the knees all the way over to the left. and back to center. Hug those knees into the chest. Give yourself a nice squeeze here. Maybe the forehead comes up to the knees. Just give yourself a big hug. Gently rock this hug. And then holding onto the right knee, extend the left leg long down the mat or plant the foot and have it grounded here. It's however it feels best in your hip and low back. Right knee is going to circle around one direction and then the other. We're just bringing some mobility into our hips here, getting some relief in our low back. And then holding onto this right knee, start to cross it over the body. So right now I have that left knee bent, so that would look about here, or you begin to straighten the leg out and cross here. So as you can see, I have quite a bit of space before the earth, so I can use my block or my bolster to support my knee here. You don't want to be in a forceful space, so get to where you can and then relax into that support, right? Get to that edge of the sensation, the beginning sign of the resistance, and then relax into that shape from there. As you do that, you may notice that, okay, well now that I'm relaxed, I can go a little bit deeper, and then you get back to that resistance, right? It's just a cycle. Right knee is coming back into the chest. Give it another little squeeze here. And then switch sides. So right foot can plant as the left knee comes up. Or right leg can go long. Circling that knee around one direction and then the other. And you can play with doing it both variations and just see what feels right in this moment, because that's what's very important, right? Listening to our body. And as you're ready, we'll take that twist. You can take it with both knees bent or with right leg long. I'm going to use my block again to support myself here, opening up and expanding out through that left side body. Finding that edge of sensation, the beginning signs of the resistance, and then easing into this shape. Last few moments. And then we'll start to bring those knees back, the left knee back to center. A little squeeze here first. And then bringing the feet back down to the mat. Feet together, knees apart, bound angle. Just a few moments here. Moving my props out of the way. Bring both hands to your hip bones. Relax the shoulders. Relax the belly muscles. Relax the hips, the inner thighs. And just notice how this feels, because we will come back here at the end of practice. So notice where the tightness and the resistance is landing. Be kind to yourself in this moment. Breathe a little deeper. Slowly start to glide those knees back towards one another, pulling them into the chest, Release the low back. Neck is neutral. And then making your way up to a seated position. So you can rock forward and backwards, or you can rock onto your side and press your way up. We'll find the easy seat here, taking some seated cats and cows. Palms down to the knees, sit up nice and tall. Inhale lifts our heart, lifts our belly. Exhale curls us up and in. Inhale lifts us forward. Exhale curls us in. Last one. Bringing the hands to the ground in front of you, to the earth or blocks. And we're going to start to lower a little bit like a chaturanga, but more like a wave with our upper body. So exhale takes it down. Inhale lifts it up. And if your hands are too close, slide them out. Exhale takes it down. Belly button to the spine. Inhale pulls it up. 3 more, just like that. And after that final one, come back up to a nice neutral seat. Drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Walking left fingertips out to the side, to the earth. Notice how that space is feeling here. Relax what you can. Chin comes to the chest. Bring both fingertips behind you. Just gently planted. Elbows slide back and down. Belly is pulling in. Inhale lifts us up nice and tall. Switch the way the legs are crossed here. 3 more cats and cows from this seated position. Inhale, lift and open the heart space. Exhale, curl up and in, chin to chest. Inhale, open up. Exhale, curl in. Last one. And curl. Coming back up to that neutral spine, bring the hands out in front of you to the earth or blocks. 5 rounds here of lower. Notice how this side feels. Because this is probably our non-habitual side, right? So it might be a little bit tighter as you roll through this. Be mindful that you're not in a forceful space. Easy, go with the flow movements. Belly button lifts. And as you make your way to that final one, release what you can. And coming back up nice and tall. Palms down to the knees. Drop the left ear to the left shoulder. Right fingertips can come on the outside of that right hip to add a little more space here. Soften where you can. Relax what you can. Chin starts to come to the chest. Both fingertips reach back behind the bum. Elbows slide back. Easy. And then inhale brings the crown of the head back up nice and tall. Making our way into a tabletop here, crossing over the ankles or sliding the legs around to the side, whatever is the easiest transition for you in this moment. Ground down through the hands and the feet. So doing a few barrel rolls here with the upper body. You take the torso down, out, and around, kind of like you're a jump rope here. Down, out, and around. And we're going to do a couple more of this direction. Just notice how this is feeling. Being sure to press into the fingertips as well to take some of the weight out of the wrist crease. Last one this direction. Come back up to a neutral spine. And go in the other direction. So take the ribs over to the other side. Down and around. Out. Down and around. Out. Down and around. 2 more. Last one, just bringing some fluidity into the body. Come back into that neutral space. Tuck your toes, walk your hands back towards your knees. We're going to stretch out the bottoms of the feet. Maybe you stay here, and this is okay, right? If this is very intense for you, this is an awesome stretch. If you want to come up a little bit deeper, hands come up to the thighs. We're just going to take a head circle to the right. Back to center. Head circle to the left. Back to center. Bring those hands back down to the earth, tabletop, untuck the toes, give the toes a little tap, 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 tap on the floor. And we'll find a spinal balance. Right hand is going to reach in front of you. Left foot is going to reach behind you. Squeeze the inner thighs towards one another. Stay here and work on stability, or begin to lift and lengthen, sending the right thumb to the sky so you can slide that shoulder back and down, flexing all 5 of the left toes down towards the earth. Lift and lengthen through our belly here. Notice the wobbles. Notice the little stabilizer muscles working. Lengthen out the back of the neck. Exhale, tabletop. Lift the belly on the way down. Shifting over to the other side. Ground down through that right hand. Find the stability in the posture and then begin to lift and lengthen. Breathe. Exhale brings us back into that tabletop. Swishing the hips side to side this time. Taking care of our wrists, let's start to spin the pinkies back towards the knees. If this is too deep for today, spin the pinkies out to the sides. Rocking side to side if that's your variation. If you are here with the pinkies back towards the knees, maybe try a few cats and cows. So grip into your fingertips. Inhale, peels the heart forward. Exhale, pushes up and in. Really expanding and opening up between the heart space, between the shoulder blades on the back. Last one. And then we'll unwind gently, bring those fingertips back to the front of your mat. And let's tuck our toes, find our way to our first downward facing dog. Lifting those hips up and back. Knees can be really bent here. Notice if you can relax the head and the neck and melt the chest back towards the thighs. Then we begin to work on straightening the legs, but maybe today we just pedal it out one leg at a time. Lengthening out from the glute all the way down to the heel. Right? So it's not about doing the movement, it's about exploring the body. How does this feel to you in this moment? Right? And if it's not feeling super great, how can you find a way to be easier here? Right? And that may mean you're from tabletop, pressing the heel and extending the leg. Yeah, always an option. So after we take this last 2 rounds of breath here in this down dog, we'll begin to soften the knees. Walk the hands back towards the feet. Forward fold at the back of the mat. Take your time, guys. No rush. Hands can be on blocks or shins here in your forward fold, or of course all the way down to the earth. Relax the head and the neck. Bend the knees a little bit deeper. Lift up through the belly. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen, shoulders back, belly in. Exhale, fold, relax, release the head. Inhale, rise up, tall mountain, reach your hands to the sky, open your heart space, and then bring those hands to heart center. Reset that intention for practice today. Breathe it in. Relax into this strong foundation. And then inhale, takes your hands back up to the sky. Palms to touch, hook your thumbs here. And then take the hands over to the right side of you like you're a big giant shark. Press your hips forward. Ground down to the outer blade of that left foot. And then inhale brings us back through center, reach up. Exhale over to the other side, same thing. Press hips forward. Lengthen neck, engage belly. Inhale brings our hands back through center. Release those arms down by the sides, give them a little shake. Working on some more balance stuff today before we settle into some deep stretches. Bring your right foot out in front of you for a modified stork. Lift the right knee up off the ground and bring the toes back down. Lift the right knee up off the ground and bring the toes back down. Right knee lifts, toes to land. Right knee lifts, toes to land. Last one, right knee lifts, hold here. You can always bring the foot down if you need to. Extend that heel out in front of you. Point the toes, flex the toes, lower the toes to the ground. Come back to standing. Separate the feet a little bit wider than hips distance apart and just start to sway side to side. Let those arms swing, let the hips rotate. Feet come back towards one another. Ground down through your foundation and start to pick the left toes up in front of you. Modified stork, right? So those hands can be lifted. Lift the knee. Lower the toes. We're pulling in through that belly. Lift the knee. Lower the toes. Stay lifted out of your standing leg. Lift up. Lift the toes. Lower down. 2 more. Lift. And lower. Last one, we're going to lift and hold. Extend that heel out in front of you. Woo! Point the toes. Flex the toes. Come back down, touch. And come to stand. Relax the arms down. Separate the feet hips distance apart. Give the body a little sway here. And then we'll start to bring those feet back towards one another one more time. Big inhale, lifts up. Exhale, forward fold, empty the breath. Bend the knees if you need to here. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Come all the way out into a tabletop once again. Untuck the toes. Walk your hands over to the left side of you. So we're making a big giant C out of our side body here. Look back towards your toes. Coming back through center, slow. And over to the other side, same thing. Last breath here. And coming back through center. We're going to tuck our toes, find your way back to a downward facing dog. This time, stillness. So knees can be bent. You can be in tabletop. How do I feel physically in this moment? Right? Don't judge anything. Just notice, how do I feel physically in this moment? Inhale, rises as high up on our tippy toes. Exhale, forward fold, top of the mat. Slowly walk your way up there, lifting the belly the whole time. Once you land, again, hands can be on blocks. We'll inhale, halfway lift and lengthen, shoulders back. Exhale, fold, bend the knees deeply. Send the left foot all the way to the back of the mat. You're in a right runner's lunge. Heart and eyes reach forward here, finding balance in between those hips. Building some heat in that back leg. Let's keep it lifted for about 3 more breaths. Can you relax your shoulders? Lengthen the heart forward. Maybe you're doing a little rock side to side. Back knee is going to come down. Send it away from you as it comes down to the ground. Gently untuck those toes. And you can always slide a blanket underneath the knees if you need to. Hands stay to the earth or blocks. Maybe they come up to the right thigh. Pull in through the belly. Lift and lengthen through the head in whatever variation you're in. Stay long through the spine. Opening up through that hip. Maybe your eyes start to look up a little bit more. It's going to look different on all of us, so pay attention to how you're feeling. And don't worry about where where I'm going or where your neighbor is going if you're on this Zoom call, right? Lengthen up. Can you open and relax the shoulders down, but pull the belly in? Almost there, gang. Keep and maintain that length through the spine. Slowly lifting up out of those hips. Lift up, shift back just for a moment to straighten the right leg. And come back into that modified lunge. Heel toe the foot over to the right side of you for modified lizard. So both hands are on the inside. Again, they can be on blocks, of course. Peel the heart forward again. So this is going to be a different place. Notice where the sensation is landing. Maintain that integrity in the spine by engaging the low belly. So here, options with the right foot. The right toes can turn out to the side if your knee is wanting to go out to the side, or they stay parallel, but knees and toes are in the same direction here. You can also play with swaying side to side. Just make sure that it's not compromising your knee and sending your knee in a different direction as your toes. The rocking can be very soothing in these deep, intense postures. Move with your breath. Coming back into a neutral space in this lizard. Option to fold here. So forearms to the earth, block or bolsters. And how can you get longer as you go down? So as opposed to curling in, I don't know if you can see me here, maybe lengthening back out, and that might mean you have to lift up on your prop. Almost there, guys. Notice where the mind is wanting to take you. And know that that's okay. Let's all take a cleansing breath here. Big full breath in. Let it go. Last 3 breaths. If you're folded, beginning to come back out of your hands, sliding those props out of the way, you're going to go back into a wide split prep. So right where the foot is in this lizard, just start to straighten the leg. Get out of that hip for a moment. Right knee may not be straight. That's okay. Keep the hips even with one another. You can always bring the blocks back to help assist you here in this posture. Take a big breath in, lengthen out. Exhale, fold as deep as you can. We're here for just a short time. Encouraging length behind that right leg. 3, 2, and 1. Slowly starting to shift our weight forward. Options here to go into pigeon pose. Heel toe this right foot all the way over to the left side of your mat, beginning to find balance in between your hips. If you need a different route to get there, please take it. As we land here, we can always slide a block underneath our right hip, bolster underneath our forearms. But we're finding balance in between those hips, so try not to rock all the way onto this right hip. Now, if none of these versions, supported or not, work for your knee today, we'll take a reclined variation, and I'll demo that right now. If you're already in this one, go ahead and head down. If you're going onto your back, you slide that left leg around, cross the right leg up and over, and then reach for that left hamstring, pulling that in tight to the chest, and then relaxing the shoulders and upper body down. Whichever variation you're in, know that it's the exact right one for you in this moment, right? As long as you're not in any physical pain, and pain, let's talk about that, is a sensation scale. So
If we're on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being hospital, 1 being asleep, you don't want to be above a 6.5 at all because your body will start to fight against you and that's what leads to injury, okay?
So if you are in a comfortable space where you can breathe and soften your muscles, excellent. About 4 more breaths here. Really release what you can. Inhale starts to bring us up nice and tall. Rock onto this right hip, slide the left leg around. If you're on your back, just come up to a seated position. And then extend the right leg out in front of you, seated tree. Left knee is bent, belly button towards the right big toe, sitting up nice and tall. And as you're ready, we'll begin to exhale, fold forward, and you can use your props. Trying to hinge at the waist, sending the tailbone back and keeping the right toes flexed. Really going to lengthen out the back of that right leg. The goal is not to get to touch the toes, but more or less, how can I flatten out the low part of my back and then hinge from here? And you can feel the difference if you curl the spine and fold forward than when you hinge at the waist. And both are good for different reasons, but today we're working on that length. Relax, release. Last few moments here, guys. See what you can let go of. You may be clenching the jaw, the forehead. Inhale's going to bring us up nice and tall. Take a moment, ground down. And then take your hands at the heels of your hands and just kind of massage the right quad. I like to push out side to side. If you need any of that stuff to relax, you can let the leg relax, the foot relax. Then slide those feet together, knees apart for a bound angle. Sitting up nice and tall. Notice how one leg feels compared to the other. It might be a big difference. It might be a subtle difference. Just become aware. Let's gently bounce those knees. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Relax your shoulders. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Making our way back into our tabletop. You can slide the legs around to the side or cross at the ankles, come over to the knees, and then we'll go right back to our downward facing dog. Take your time through your transitions. There is no rush. As you land in this down dog, how does this feel? Right? Don't label it good or bad, right or wrong. Just notice the sensations that are showing up for you and how can you find strength and ease in this moment. Inhale, rise us high up on our tippy toes. Exhale, forward fold, top of the mat. Take your time. Inhale, halfway lifts us once we get there. And then exhale, fold. Slide your right foot back to being a left runner's lunge. Heart and eyes reach forward. Take a moment if you need those blocks. Go ahead and set them up. And then let's play with a little bit of swaying side to side. Building some heat here. Thinking about lengthening that right foot back a little bit more. Woo-hoo-hoo. Breathe. And then as you bring the back knee down, sit it away from you, untuck the toes. Keep your hands to the earth or blocks or start to walk them up to that left thigh. Taking time to really examine what's happening in this right hip. Slide the right hip in, lift up through the belly, and then melt the hips down and forward. So everything is engaged. It's in the best alignment for your physical space right now. And we're not bringing tension up into our neck and shoulders. Relax what you can, where you can, right? Encouraging length in that low spine by scooping the belly button up and in. Maybe we start to look up, lengthening through the crown of the head. Crown of the head begins to lift back to the sky. Hands start to come down towards the ground. Heel toe that foot. Actually, let's come back split prep just for a breath. Lift out of that hip flexor. Whoo. Take a little bit of movement there in those hips. Ooh, that feels good. And now we'll move into our lizard. So heel toe the foot over to the left, hands on the inside to the earth or blocks. Re-establish that length in the spine. And again, we can play with the placement of that left foot so that the knee and the toes are in the same direction here as we gently sway side to side if that's for you today.
Notice where the tension keeps creeping up into the body, and that's okay, but just become aware of it so that we can constantly go, it's all right, shoulders, you can relax. It's all right, jaw, you can relax. And we start to build healthy habits. Last few moments in this sway. Coming back towards stillness, I'll offer you to fold here as an option. Blocks, bolsters, all the way down to the earth. But get to that place where you can still breathe and relax, right? If you can't relax or breathe, you're a little too deep in the posture. Back out of it, reassess, and then come back in. Noticing where the mind goes in these intense postures, right? It can be really telling of how we carry our stress, okay? Don't judge it, right? Don't judge yourself. Just notice where it goes and then kindly bring it back to the intention that you set for practice today. Slowly begin to come back up into the hands. We're shifting the hips back. Find that wide-legged split prep just for a moment. Find length in the spine. And then we'll start to transition into our variation of pigeon on this side. So shifting forward, heel toe the foot to the right side of your mat, finding balance in between your hips. If you know that you like the recline version or this bothers your knee at all, go ahead and head to that variation. Take your time getting there. There's no rush. Supporting yourself with a block underneath that hip is also a great option here. Now I can show you a little bit better. And that just brings the ground a little bit closer to you so you can relax in this lovely posture, yeah? So if you are ready to fold, think about growing longer out of the hips, releasing through the chest, the head, the shoulders. If you're on your back, draw your awareness to your sacrum, your tailbone. See if you can relax that. And then notice if the shoulders, the neck, the jaw are tense too. Relax there as well. Relaxing, releasing where you can. Last 3 breaths. And then we'll begin to inhale, lift up nice and tall. Slide on to that left hip. Bringing the right leg around in front of you. If you're on your back, just come up to an easy seat, extending the right leg out. Oops, I'm so sorry. The left leg out. We don't want to do the same side twice, do we? So the left leg is extended here. Belly button towards that big toe. We start to fold over, supporting ourselves with any props that we need. So if for some reason you don't have any yoga props, books are great, couch pillows are great, rolled up blankets or towels are great. Last 2 breaths. And then our inhale begins to rise us up nice and tall. Bringing those feet together, knees apart. Oh wait, I forgot. Excuse me. Let's massage out that left thigh. All right, giving that leg a little bit of love here. And then we'll bring our feet together, knees apart. Sit up nice and tall. 5 more bounces here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go ahead and make our way onto our backs. So option today to take Shavasana in that supported bound angle, or no support, of course. So you can take feet together, knees apart, sliding those blocks underneath the thighs here, or just let the legs fall heavy. Take a deep breath in as we start to close out this practice. Long, slow breath out. Relaxing into this space. Shavasana.
And slowly starting to come back to your breath. Finding some subtle movement in the hands and the feet. Maybe reaching down and sliding those knees towards one another, allowing the feet to land to the earth. Pausing in stillness here, start to gently windshield wiper the knees side to side. Checking in with how you feel physically, mentally, and emotionally since we practiced today. And reminding yourself that it is okay to feel exactly how you feel in this moment. Rocking onto your favorite side or staying on your back. Take a deep breath in. Slow breath out. Then start to make your way up into an easy seated position, bringing the hands to heart center, closing out this practice in a seat of gratitude. Gratitude for this physical body that carries me around every moment of every day. Gratitude for the choice you made to get on your mat today, to listen to your body, to take care of your mind. And gratitude for the intention that you set for today's practice. Bringing the thumbs to the forehead, we'll find gratitude for one another and the energy that we just shared. Namaste, friends. Namaste, guys. Thank you so much for joining us here at Cat Harmon Yoga. I hope that you enjoyed today's practice. If you would ever like to practice with us live, head over to catharmonyoga.com and check out our Zoom schedule. This is our Friday deep stretch class. It happens 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you like the videos as well, click subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out, and I am incredibly grateful. Have a wonderful day, guys. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for choosing me to take care of your bodies and your minds.